Well, well, well. So much has happened since the last time that we talked. My mind has taken me in so many different directions. Mainly, should I keep doing this? Well, this is the update since I've last talked to you. The doctors have told me that I may have cancer. A slow growing cancer, they said, attached to my thyroids, attached to my nodules. I should say you only get one thyroid, but I had multiple nodules for years that just started to grow. And I would just go back each year to have them watched because that's what they told me to do, right? We'll just watch them. And lo and behold, one of them doubled in size, maybe even tripled. I'm looking back at my reports trying to decide when did it go from 1 centimeter to 3.9. Then this particular nodule was causing me not to be able to breathe. I had been told this several times that it could possibly happen, but dealing with grief and anxiety and being a tad bit overweight, maybe even more than a tad bit, I'm thinking I'm just out of shape. I need to go into the gym more often. I'm gaining this weight in my neck. I'm waking up in the middle of the night, with dry mouth, dry throat, coughing. And I'm DJing one night. And soon after, I say to my daughter, I can't catch up full breath. Like, I literally cannot breathe. When you go to the ER, and you say that you can't breathe. Of course, I couldn't breathe because they're thinking it's cardiac or they're thinking it's anxiety. And lo and behold, don't let the doctors know that you've suffered a large loss in your life, like the murder of your child. Then they blame everything on grief and depression. And well, since I fit the profile, this one particular doctor says, I'm going to admit you for further observation. Yet he said he couldn't find anything wrong with my heart. He couldn't find anything wrong with my lungs. But you know what? I was tired. I was so very tired. I said, all right. I literally surrendered to my body that night, May 18th, 2025. My mental was tired. My emotional being was tired. And I was physically tired. As they wheeled me to the ambulance that I didn't want to go into, but he assured me it was no extra charge because he wanted me to be rushed to the cardiac wing at the hospital. And I'm saying, didn't you not find anything wrong with my heart? You said my EKG was fine. There was no arrhythmias or signs of heart attack. The blood work said I didn't have a heart attack. Why is this happening? But I was so tired. I had that thought and I allowed them to wheel me into the ambulance. That's all I could think about is, I'm so tired. I need to rest. So anyways, we get to the hospital. They hook me up to all these machines and they are checking for more cardiac issues. They do a CAT scan. They do an MRI. They do more x-rays. Nothing. And it dawned on me again, you have had endocrinologists telling you that nodule was moving towards your vocal cords, moving towards your windpipe. It could eventually block your windpipe. It could eventually attach to the vocal cords and be too hard to remove. We need to make a decision. But what they kept saying is, you don't need to make a decision today. In my mind, the biopsy had come back benign, right? So I'm fine. It's just I'm getting fat in my neck. Like, Lord, why would you let me gain weight in my neck? You know what I'm saying? Like, what is going on? But surely it cannot be nodules that are cancerous that are growing in my throat, right? Anyhow, the first night in the hospital, I was so happy that my heart was fine, being that my dad had a pacemaker, his mom had a pacemaker, my mom's dad died at 40 from a heart attack. My mom laid down after dinner one night and just died of natural causes. And she had atherosclerosis. She had those rolling veins that the doctors could barely get into. And my veins do that sometime. So I was kind of glad to get clear that it wasn't a heart attack. Yet, when I looked at my chart, it said at some point I possibly could have had an infarct. Now, I remember dealing with that previously, and my cardiologist telling me, yes, I have a cardiologist as well, that, oh, that's just what they say. My left atrium is, or ventricle, I don't know the medical terms, correct me here. Put it in the notes down at the bottom, is enlarged, but it happens. If you have blood pressure issues or if you're a little overweight, again, I was happy to be cleared from no cardiac issues. And they moved down to my lungs. They still couldn't figure out why I was not able to breathe. They wanted to pump me full of pain medicines, from codeine to oxy to Percocets. I declined them all. And they wanted to give me fentanyl, which is another episode for another podcast. Listen to your body, people. Anyways, to continue into this journey, this update, and why I haven't been recording, I was laying there in the hospital bed and I was like, could it be that these nodules is causing me not to breathe? They couldn't find anything else. My blood work was fine. My blood sugar was fine. I'm not diabetic. I didn't have a stroke. Wasn't my heart or my lungs. Could be a gastric, because I do have GERD ever since my son was killed. I mean, I've had heartburn like the Dickens. I've been to the hospital an enormous amount of times for it only to be gas. But they gave me gas medicine. They gave me heartburn medicine. And yet my oxygen levels were just fine. But I was having a hard time catching my breath. And I had to really settle into that. I had to have these nodules removed. I started looking up, and just like when you have breast cancer and lumps decide to connect to your breasts, you have to get your breasts removed. Your breasts weren't the problems. It was the lumps that decided to, attach themselves to your breasts. So you have to get rid of your breasts. And they were telling me, there's no way to really aggressively treat this unless you get your thyroid removed. My thyroid? But my levels are fine, right? So now the woman who hates to take even Tylenol or ibuprofen or even a baby aspirin will now be subjected to taking a pill for the rest of her life to regulate her hormones, because they're going to take her thyroid because these pesky little nodules have decided to connect themselves to my thyroid. Lord, come on. I lay there and I wept. Of course, my blood pressure stayed high because I was just beside myself with grief. I was beside myself with grief. I even remember visiting the surgeon and him saying, oh, we'll get insurance clearance so that when you do make a decision about what you want to do, we'll be ready to go. They're stating that the nodules, although they came back benign on the biopsy, on the sonogram, you have several, not only the one that is so large that's threatening to cut off your breathing in your windpipe, you have 4 others that are mildly suspicious for cancer. But they can't guarantee if it's cancer or not unless they remove it out of my body for further study. So I had 2 options, because you do have options, right? I could allow the nodules to stay in my body and grow and potentially block my windpipe completely. And not only grow and block my windpipe, but grow and be cancerous. When I look back, when you are grieving, right? You hear what your doctor is saying to you, but you only hold on to the good part. So they have been telling me this for about a couple years. But I thought, as long as, I'm in a perpetual circle here, right? Because I thought if the biopsy said that it was benign, I'll be fine. But that's only if they're under 2 centimeters. This one was almost 4. And why is it growing so large? Why is this particular nodule threatening my vocal cords and my breath? So I said, Lord, if I make it through this surgery, if I'm still able to talk, I'll start my podcast again. I don't know what else to do with what has happened to me, but to talk about it. I don't know who cares. I don't know if it makes a difference, but it's in me and it keeps coming up and I can't rest. And I've always been told, if something is nudging you and you have the ability, just do it. You don't know why God or the universe is prompting you to do this thing. You just know that it's something inside of you that's nagging you to do it. The average person does not have microphones and cameras and computers and equipment galore in their home to record a podcast. Why do I keep purchasing it? Why do I keep finding it on sale? Why do I have people that keep wanting to help me with it? Why do I have people that say they want to hear what I have to say? Sometimes I can't even listen back to my own podcast because I'm like, you're just rambling. I want it to be more purposeful. I want it to be more entertaining. I want it to be like everybody else's. But each and every time I record, I'm either very joyful or I'm near tears. And I've created this entire brand. It's okay to live. And the amount of feedback that I get on it every single month or quarterly or every year, unsolicited feedback that it has grown from helping parents live after the death of their children, to a woman contacting me and saying that she was about to commit suicide. And I had given her a shirt. I have no idea when I even gave her a shirt, and it has the hashtag on it, "It's okay to live." She pulled a shirt out of her drawer. Just any shirt. She was contemplating suicide. And she looks in the mirror and she sees my hashtag. that says it's okay to live. And it gave her hope to keep living. And this all came from some evil person killing my son. And I'm grateful. I'm grateful to still be here. I'm grateful to still be able to record my voice. Do you know that I wasn't supposed to be able to speak right after the surgery? And I was. I was never even hoarse. And the nurses were even surprised that I could still talk. So I know that I'm supposed to be talking for something right now. My neck and my throat hurts from the surgery, and all I want to do is record and get this out here. I found out today that Apple finally approved me to be on their podcast. So all I got to do is upload episodes. So I don't know if this touches 1 million one day or one individual. Or even if my daughter and my granddaughter can play it back later on just to hear my voice, it has to be for a reason. This all has to be for a reason. My son was murdered. My sister was murdered. My mom died. My dad died. Everybody's dying around me, and I'm still here, which means I still have work to do. I'm still here. And you can still hear my voice. And as long as you can hear my voice, I'm going to record these podcasts. I'm going to recruit my nephew to set up my den as my studio in my home. I'm going to just come to you live. And I don't know what I'm going to do, but I know I'm going to do something. I don't know why I want to do it, but I'm going to do it. I'm going to be obedient. I feel like to the Holy Spirit, to the Lord, to the universe, that we must not just be alive. We must live. We must give back. We must leave a legacy for the people to come after us. I really don't know. But I'm just going to keep talking to you. I'm going to keep encouraging you. I'm going to keep telling you it's okay to live. But this time around, I'm going to tell it to myself. I no longer have a thyroid. I am now dependent upon medicine to keep me alive, to keep me functioning, to keep me, my mind. This hormone regulates your brain and your heart. And I literally hate taking vitamins. God has such a great sense of humor. God has such a great sense of humor. And guess what? I'm going to keep my job with iHeart, doing the traffic. So many people, so many kids, adults, black, white, female, and male, said they love to hear me do the traffic on the radio station. Me. Little old me. Our lives are not our own. We are here to serve. Biggest lesson that I've learned after this surgery is that it is okay to live. My therapist poked me in my side real hard, not literally because we are virtual, but figuratively. And she asked me, how are you out here teaching folks it's okay to live and you ain't living yourself? Oof. 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 So I'm here to encourage you. If you're hearing this and you wanted to record your podcast, I'm sitting right in my living room. I'm using QuickTime and mics that I bought on sale. I'm playing a little Andre Blue new song in the background, Andre 3000. And I'm sitting on my purple couch. All of those things are going to come together professionally soon. But for now, I want you to know it's okay to live. It's okay to live. It's okay to live. It's your girl, Tanya, DJ Miss Tan Cummins, signing out.